So, ladies and gentlemen, we have together with us Alexis Bonte, the proud owner of eRepublik. Welcome to Clopoyaur TV. The first obvious question is, man, are you really Plato?
No, I'm not Plato.
But then, who are you and who is this mysterious Plato?
I don't have the looks to be Plato. You know, I don't have that nice, white beard, and I have this. My hair is all wrong to be Plato.
Okay, yeah. Well, be it Plato or not, thank you very much for the opportunity and for the honor of coming here to us as a guest on the 1-year anniversary here on Clopoyaur TV. I will start this interview with a light question because we have many strong questions for you later. On 2007, you started a project, eRepublik. Now 7 years have passed. How do you see that that project develop? It's like practically your baby. How do you see this project 7 years later?
Well, I think it's a good question. To be honest, it's gone into directions that were completely unexpected. I mean, at the beginning, the idea was, I've always been a big strategy game fan. I used to play a lot of Civilization, was my favorite game, and my background was the internet, and I was kind of tired of buying pretty lousy strategy games, and always having to update my PC so I could play. So I thought, wow, how cool would it be if I had a game like Civilization, but on the internet, online, browser-based, so I don't need to do any downloads, anything, and with real people, wouldn't that be so amazing?
And yes, the concept is amazing.
So that was kind of the idea, but of course we had no idea what we were doing. I'd never done a game. The people I was doing this with had never done a game before. So I think the reason we did it is because we didn't know that it's probably something that you can't really do. It's just really hard to do this sort of thing. And yeah, we made tons of mistakes, but I think what made the difference is that there's an incredible community just gathered around that idea, liked it, took ownership in a lot of ways of the platform that we gave. And to me, what it kind of made me realize is that, what's special about this is, I kind of say that what we're trying to do is to craft game worlds, and really what we're doing is we're just providing a tool that's a catalyst for people to have fun and to create a sense of community. And for me, the most amazing things that have happened with youre.com is not the fact that we had millions of people who have played eRepublik. And of course, at any given time, we don't have millions of people playing the game, but we've had, I don't know if you guys realize, but there's and I'm not counting multis, this is without the multis, there's been over 5 million people who have tried eRepublik.com at least once. But that's not the most important thing. The important thing is stuff like, I don't know if you guys see this, it's like communities getting together. I recently saw a video about a community in Indonesia doing some, I think spending the weekend together and doing amazing things. I think I posted that video on my blog on alexisbonte.com. I mean, that's really the stuff that to me makes me thick and makes me really really enjoy this. It's just projects like yours. I mean, you've been doing this for a year. I mean, this is stuff. Normal games don't. This sort of stuff doesn't happen in normal games.
Yes, this leads me to the next question. Where is eRepublik right now compared to what you have expected back then in 2007 when you started? Is at the level you expected, or is in a different direction?
That's a great question. To be honest, when we started, we kind of thought that the game was going to. We didn't really know where the game was going to go. We thought the game was going to be maybe a bit simpler, because the idea was to really kind of do a game where you could play 10-15 minutes a day, and then move on and then do something else the next day. Something that didn't take too much of your time. I mean, my particular case, I've got kids and all that, so I couldn't really do those 4 or 5 hours game sessions that I used to do on Civilization till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and just the community took it somewhere else. So I think the game is a little bit more niche than I expected. So like the total number of players that we have playing the game is a bit less than I would have expected, but it's a lot more deep than I would expect, and the involvement of the people who really play the game is much, much higher than I would have ever imagined. And also the length of the game. I mean, how many games are still played by a very large amount of people 7 years after they've been launched? I mean, very, very few. So in that respect, it's really I'm really impressed by it. I'm really happy with it. I'm also disappointed by a lot of the mistakes that we've made that I realize have hurt the game. But then, you know, it's...
If you're not working, you cannot make mistakes, after all.
Sorry?
If you are not doing something, you cannot make mistakes, after all.
That's true. That's true. But, you know, I think some mistakes we could have avoided if we had been smarter about listening to what the community was telling us. If we knew better what we were doing and all sorts of stuff, you know, but we made mistakes because in some cases, you know, we thought we were doing the right thing, but we didn't do the right thing. But I think we got more things right than things wrong, because if we had gotten a lot more things wrong than things right, then, you know, we wouldn't be here talking today, and there wouldn't be a game after 7 years.
Yes, that is right. So we are here. We have like 130,000 players in the game right now. Where is eRepublik heading in the future? Can you give us a few ideas? What should we expect eRepublik to look like in the future?
Well, I think one of the things that we do, and we do it a lot more than people think, is we really listen to what the community is doing, and we have a lot of ways to, you know, on one hand we listen to what the community says, and we also watch what the community does. You know, we have metrics. A lot of people in the community will say, "Oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I don't like this," and it's a very voiceful minority, and then actually we'll see that the majority of people use certain things. So that's how we also take some design decisions in certain ways. The things that are coming next. I don't know if you've seen it. Actually, today is the final day to vote for new countries. So we're actually giving to the community the possibility to choose what new countries to have. I mean, to be honest, the vision for eRepublik.com was to have all the countries in the world from the beginning. But we couldn't really do it because we couldn't get the volume to justify opening a new country after a certain point. But now I think it's the right time to do that. So the first thing that's going to happen is more countries. We're going to be adding more countries into the game. The other thing is, you know, we're definitely going to be doing continuous improvements into the game. I'm sure you've probably noticed. I was watching you fight that gorilla fight just before.
Yes, you have seen me losing.
And I thought it was quite fun because it's actually a dialogue that we had eternally a lot. You know, you said, "Oh, it's too much luck, and this is why I lost." Actually, there's a lot less luck than I would have liked in the gorilla fight. Actually, let me give you a gift for your 1-year anniversary, because I know you're a fan of the gorilla fight. Do you know how the gorilla fight started and why we did it?
I don't know, but definitely was the need to have a PvP module. In any game, the PvP module is the backbone, the one that keeps the players in the game.
Kind of, but I think, you know, we're not that smart. The reason we put the PvP, the PvP, first of all, is because there was a bit of a sense of PvP in beta. I don't know if you remember, people would look for each other and kind of fight each other at the beginning, and we had lost that. And we wanted to find a way to do that again. And and also I thought, you know, that the fight module, the battle module as it was, for me personally, I mean, I think it's very efficient, it's a lot of fun. It's very good for collaborative fighting. I think it's, you know, getting everybody together, military unit, let's go and attack at that time together.
Yes, pardon me for interrupting you. I'm a big fan of Guerrilla, and if there is a player more obsessed by the Guerrilla module, that player it's me. Still, why I do not like this module? Because indeed there were new weapons added. And this new weapon, let me finish this. This new weapon, these new weapons brought unbalance to the game, because the new assault rifle is so overpowered that actually you cannot use anything else, because using anything else would lead you to lose the fight. And if in the past I always said that guerrilla battles are 50% luck, 50% skill. Right now, with my hand on the heart, I can say that guerrilla battle is 20% skill and 80% luck. I wish it would be different.
Yeah, but let me first, before we go into that, because let me finish why we did it. So the idea at the beginning was to have basically guerrilla fights, was actually to have them almost as a boss battle. So we thought, oh, what we'll do is you fight in the normal battle module, and you do kind of 10 kills, 15 kills, 20 kills. We didn't know what number, and then what we would do is at that point you will kind of get closer to the enemy and enter into a PvP fight. But then we were afraid that would break the experience too much, and that's why we kept them as guerrilla fights on the side, and we've never brought them completely into the main game. So that's the main reason we did that. Then in terms of, to answer your question about luck and balance, so the guerrilla fights is something that we're looking in terms of the balance and making sure that we rebalance. I agree the new assault rifle is quite strong. I have to admit also that I just won 3 battles today because I wanted to do them against people who were more or less similar skill of mine, and I won them mostly with the short range weapon, the how do you call that, the youre thing?
The rifle,
not the rifle, not the bow,
the shotgun
with the crossbow.
Okay, with the crossbow.
And I won them with the crossbow. So we're looking at we have to look at the balance of everything into the game, and I think it's a constant kind of dialogue between there's too much luck or there's not enough luck. I can assure there's not 80% luck. There's a lot less than that. But if we're looking at the balance.
Okay, thank you for this clarification. Let's get back on the path with what my viewers want to hear from you. First of all, they were curious how much do you actually play the game? Do you how much time do you spend daily on eRepublik? Do you read the press? Do you follow the wars? Do you check alliances and so on?
So I read the press. I read the press mostly in the countries where I am, which is usually France, a bit of the United States, UK, Spain, those sort of countries. So I'm actually a big fan of the press. And the media module, I think, is one of the modules where there's a few things that I would like to improve. And so the guys are kind of looking at how we can make the media module more interesting for the people who are active there. So the press is a big part of it for me. I mean, I play, I would say, I'm not one of those guys that plays daily a lot. I usually take there's 2 or 3 days per week where I'll play for a few hours, but I won't play daily. So, for example, today I played for about an hour and a half. This weekend I played on Saturday. So it's kind of like I don't play every day. And in terms of the alliances and all that, I basically stay up to date through the press. But I have this kind of special role where if I get too involved in the game and I play too much, and people might say, oh, he's cheating, he's using unfair gold, which, by the way, I'm not. I buy any gold that I use in the game, I buy with my personal money.
By the way, how much euros did you spend on gold, if I'm not indiscreet?
It's a good question. I have no idea.
Okay, let's get back to interview. People were also curious how big is the team behind the eRepublik right now? How many people are involved in the project?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So right now there's about, I'd say dedicated 100% to eRepublik.com. We have about 25 people, plus some people were also amazing in most cases. I know sometimes there are some problems, but most of those people are amazing. Some external moderators and translators, which in total would account to about 60 more people. Mm-hmm. So it's 25 full-time employees and then about 60 external volunteers and moderators.
Yes, I'm asking this because one of the most common complaints in the game is about the very long time needed to answer tickets. People are complaining that they receive an answer to a ticket 5 or 6 days later, even weeks after, even though it's a very small or common thing issue. Why is this happening?
So that's a great question, and it's something that kind of always surprises me. And sometimes some people kind of try and find ways to send me the messages that are written on that. So we actually look at stats for this, and actually on average, and you know, this is mathematics, is the average, but of course there's some exceptions. First of all, we get a lot of tickets. We get about 5,000 tickets a week. That's a lot of tickets.
Wow, impressive.
And on average, we actually in 18 hours. To kind of, if you want to compare, try and send a ticket to another game out there and see if they reply to you on average in 18 hours. I think the tickets that get problems are just, there's two issues there. Sometimes the answers are not great, and that's something we have to look into. And we actually, people are able to rate their answers. So I really encourage you, when you get a ticket, when you get an answer, just rate it. The average rating is, I think, about 3.7, 3.8 out of 5, so it's not too bad. But that's
not too good either. But not too good either.
You know, but it's very, you know, when somebody says, "Oh, I have a problem, this didn't work," and whatever, and we tell them, actually, it's not a problem, you made a mistake. Usually, they give you a bad rating.
Okay.
You want to know another thing that's quite funny? Usually, women get 1 star more on average than men.
Well, that is true. Also, and also, let's not remember that when an issue is solved, people are not saying, "Okay, my issue was solved," but only when they have a problem. Look, my issue was not solved. Bad you.
Exactly, but I don't want to answer to this lightly. I do think we can do better, and that's something we're looking into. And because I do think that. It's extremely important to give the community the best support that we can give, and we have resources behind this. You know, we have full-time people answering tickets, not just, you know, external moderators.
Yes, I understand. Well, eRepublik is the name of the game. eRepublik is the name the community is giving to the game sometimes. Because there are a lot of bugs involved in the game. Barely I can see any release having no bugs or being flawless. Why is this happening? Are these new modules that are launched even tested, or why is this happening?
Oh my God! I mean, you don't know how it was before.
Well, I know how it was before. Indeed, there is a slight improvement in the last period, but still there are bugs.
It was. I mean, I don't know if you know, but like a week after, or not even a week after we launched the game, with about 30,000 players in the game. I mean, I think the game was down. We had more headless chickens than live game. For, you know, I think we had 10 hours of headless chicken a day. It was just crazy. I think
well, that is normal at the beginning, and even 1-2 years after the game is launched, still, even right now, we are having these bugs and issues. Why is this happening?
I mean,
yes, I am perfectly aware that unknown things may appear. Still, I am looking to see a release that has no bugs, it's flawless, and see, oh my God, it's happening. It's live, and the headless chicken does not appear.
You know, there's two ways. There's two philosophies. There's one philosophy which is release nothing or release very few things, and you know, and do them flawlessly. And usually you end up releasing nothing and not doing it at all, or getting stuff done and sometimes breaking a few things. And you know, we're of the philosophy that it's better to give you guys new stuff, new content, and sometimes break a few things than not doing anything. Now we're trying to break less and less things, but to be honest, I think that we'll never, I mean, it's impossible to release something new in a game as complex as eRepublik with, you know, there's a lot of old, new technology, 6 years of code. Virtually impossible to do a flawless. We do a release and the game is down for several hours, even days. I mean, we don't have that anymore. It's very, very rare.
Yes, so, indeed, it's very, very rare.
So I have to admit that. I think it's improved a lot. Yes, there's still bugs. Could we break less things? Yes, but if that meant that we couldn't be updating the game all the time and doing more things, then I'd prefer to break a few things from time to time.
Okay, also people are asking for more variety in a game. They want a bigger economy, a better economy with more products involved. They want monetary market. They want more things in the political module. How can you meet to their expectations of the game to be a bit more varied?
Yeah, that's a really difficult one, and I think at one point we. So we had a really difficult situation between making, and we still have it, between making the game, you know, always more interesting, always more deep, and which sometimes might mean always a little bit more complex to the people who have been playing it for a long time, which are the core of the community, and at the same time making the game accessible for new players, you know, so that new players, they come to the game and they understand what's happening. And I think we made a mistake at some point where we oversimplified the game, so that thinking that would make it easier for new players to understand and all that. And I think by doing that, we didn't really manage making it less complex, but we made it less deep.
And yes, in this way, you have kind of lost the hardcore players, the ones that wanted the game to be still a little bit difficult, to find a challenge in the game.
We lost a few hardcore players. We got a few more new players, but I think we got the balance wrong. So I do think that. So what we forgot is the real glue of the game is the community anyway. So the thing that we want to do is to give more tools to the community to communicate. I mean, one thing that was very hard is 3, 4, 5 years ago, for a new player, it was okay to tell him, hey, go to IRC and you'll understand how the game works. I mean, now new players, you know, they don't go to IRC, or very few go to IRC. That's why one of the things that we're unrolling, and some military units have it, some don't, is an internal chat into the game, which I think is improving. And this will give us more community glue. This will allow the players to do more things inside eRepublik and also to welcome new players. And I think that at the same time will allow us to build a bit more complexity into the political module and the economical module without frightening too much the new players, because they'll be, right from the beginning, they'll be in the military unit, they'll be with, or even the political party, and they'll have the community to kind of, you know, help them and guide them. So that's the way we're trying to get to that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it doesn't make sense. Let's hope we will see it real in the game. And
well, I think a lot of people can see the chat already, right?
Yes, we can see the chat. It's quite working. It's a good addition to the game. Everything that comes to the military units as an addition, it's very good to the game, and we kind of like it. Yes, I'm not saying that everything in the game is bad. Basically, I'm trying to hit the hot points where what the community has, where the community has issues. And talking about the community, well, there are a lot of people that are having a negative attitude towards the game. They are always complaining. Are these people listen? How did you try to soften their critics by doing something?
No, I don't think it's about softening the critics. I think people who criticize the game, they criticize the game because they care. So I prefer to have people criticizing the game than, you know, than not criticizing the game and not playing the game. Because at least if they're criticizing, we can do something about it and understand. Of course, it's always better when it's constructive criticism rather than, you know, I don't like Alexis' nose or whatever. That doesn't help a lot. But usually, you know, we get really constructive criticism. And I hear it, and it's true. You know, there's a lot of things that we still need to improve, we get a lot of different ideas for the economy. But the thing is, we get people who criticize the economy for one thing, and then they give one suggestion, and then other people will give the exact opposite suggestion. So for us, we need to find the right things to improve the economy. We need to find the right things to improve the political module that will be interesting for the greater number, and that's where it's really, really difficult.
And this leads me to the next question. Where do you think the game should be majorly better? If you were a programmer at eRepublik Labs right now, what would you definitely change tomorrow?
What would I definitely change? So I think it's the thing that we're already doing is better communication tools within the game. To allow to give more glue, to allow the community to be more connected within the game is the first thing. And the second thing, I think we've put a lot of effort onto the military module recently, and I think it's time we give a bit more love to economy, politics, and media. I think these are areas that need an upgrade. So which one we're going to do first? Well, we're already working on them and doing a few things. So which one will be released first will depend on how efficient we're in our progress there. But that's where we're focusing our attention right now.
Great, thank you very much. It looks quite promising, I may say. Well, during this existence, the game has experienced a lot of versions. Which one was your favorite, by the way?
Rising?
Rising? Okay, my answer too. Well, however, Rising was not a very good experience for all the games, for all the people, because many of them quit during that module. However, there were a few hardcore players that really loved that module. Do you think that module can be launched as a different game? Because I think it has the potential.
Yeah, what we should have done with Rising is we should have done a second server. We should have done another server called the Rising server with the Rising module, because it was about 40, 50,000 people who just loved Rising. They were crazy about it. But everyone else hated it. So that's what we should have done. Unfortunately, it's not something we can do just because we just don't have the code for it anymore.
Oh, you don't have the code? What happened?
No. Well, you know, this is a few years ago, and you know, doing things quickly and breaking things means that sometimes you don't really do the code in the exact proper way. So we don't really. If we were to do Rising again, we'd have to probably start it again from scratch.
So basically, you have pushed the red button.
We pushed the red button, exactly. The way it's done is like, Alexis, do we push the red button or no? I was like, well, don't we have the choice of doing a second server? No, we don't. And I was like, okay, well, we pushed the red button. So that was a near-death experience. I mean, really, it was with, I think at that moment, eRepublik almost was very close to disappearing. So it was very scary. So no, I'd say I did like some of the things we had then in terms of, I think there was when right after Rising, when we had the simpler military module, but also a bit more economical complexity. I thought we had a nice balance there. And then unfortunately, this part of the team wanted to really push the simplification of the economy and all that and remove things. To be honest, I didn't really agree with that. And I made the mistake of actually not blocking that. And I think we lost a little bit in the process. But you know, it's a very, very big game world, eRepublik. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I think right now it's probably the best it's ever been. But we need to make it better. It's not good enough because you know there's a lot of other things everybody can do. So we need to.
Sorry for a moment. I have to calm down my Clopoyaur are making strange noises in the room. So coming right back in 10 seconds. Pardon me. By the way, this is Clopoyaur, the Clopoyaur TV mascot.
Attacked by your cat.
Yes. Okay, sorry for this forced break. I am really, really sorry. Well, as you can see, nothing is perfect here on Clopoyaur TV either.
Wow.
Okay, wherever you are looking on the forums or the chat or on the chats, you can see fix the economy. 1 year ago, we got the graphic, and that graphic said the picture. That graphic said, okay, new map in progress, alliances, QA, guerrilla module in progress, and the economy had 2 lines. What is the status of those 2 lines right now?
I think what I remember from it also in that get together is I think everybody kind of asked, okay, so fix the economy. So what would you do to fix the economy? And I think no one could agree how to fix the economy. It was kind of like everybody had different opinions. So that's why it was very difficult. So all the rest was delivered because all the rest was easy and made sense. Fix the economy is a much more complicated thing because it's very easy to see fix the economy, but I can tell you, we've had like 50 or 60 different suggestions of how to fix the economy. Most of them actually go against each other. So it's a very, very, very difficult one. So I think there's a few things that we've been doing to kind of, you know, I think improve things, and I think the things have improved slightly. But it's a very hard one to do. It's a very hard one to do.
Okay, back to today. There are paying customers and normal customers, normal players of eRepublik. How much do you think eRepublik is a pay-per-win game, and how do you think this balance is between the actual customers that are paying for in-game things and the other mass of the players that do not want to pay or do not pay for the game?
So I mean, I love all the eRepublik players. I mean, I think anyone who's giving their time to something like to Republic, to me, is like, it's a privilege. It's an honor to have them on board. Whether they pay or they don't pay, everybody contributes in their own way to making this world special and great. So that's why for us, it's we have to be very careful about with this pay to win part. And the proof that pay to win doesn't really work in eRepublik is, hey, I don't know how much I've spent in eRepublik, but I spent a lot, and I get my ass kicked all the time. So there's definitely a lot. There's definitely, there's somebody who's got the skill, the commitment, who knows how to play, who really plays and never pays. Will always do better than the guy that just pays. So this is the balance that we have to be careful with. And we have to be careful. I'm not saying we always got the balance right. I think sometimes we probably got the balance a bit wrong, actually. And it's something we have to be careful with. Sometimes we'll make some changes that could get the balance wrong, and we need to change them. That's why a lot of the things that you see us doing on eRepublik, they're not permanent changes. There's something we put in there, and then it's only there for a day or two, or it even works for 30 days, and then maybe you will never see it again. Because if we think it's too much pay to win, or it breaks the balance of the game in another way, then we probably won't put it again.
Well, this is why you can see riots in the game. Plato is greedy. Plato wants our money. Plato is bad. Oh, greedy Plato. This raises up the question, how much the money invested reflect in the things you are getting for the money invested. Basically, the question is, do you get enough things for the money you are invest in the game? So that what you are buying, be it gold, being packs, being gifts to friends, is this bringing enough satisfaction to actually make the money worth spent?
I think it is. I think it's a winning eRepublik is a trade-off between. I think the way we try to balance it is that using gold basically buys you time. Okay, it saves you time. So if you don't want to, if you want to spend a bit less time on in eRepublik, you have a bit less time to commit. Then I think gold is good value for you. It's gonna work well for you. It's gonna allow you to keep up with certain people at a certain level. It's gonna allow you to speed up a few things and all that. That's kind of the balance that we're trying to. Also, what it's gonna allow you is to help others, and I think that's the very important thing. Is you can really make a difference for your country or for your military unit or for others, and that's some of the things that we're trying to put in there. Is to give the occasion for people who actually enjoy buying gold to move faster in the game, to also use that to help others.
To help the community they are belonging and to help their country, of course.
Exactly. I think you just got a gift for your for the 1-year birthday, for example.
Yes,
right?
I received the one from the Jackal, if I recall correctly.
There you go. There you go. So I think if we're trying to make it really kind of that way. So I think in that respect, they're good value. I mean, in my case, I've always kind of it's always been good value for me.
Yes, because the backbone of the game right now is the community. Without the community, basically the game is dead. So this is what keeps the eRepublik going and what keeps this machine working. It's our drug, the community. This is what keeps us in the game.
It's always been that way, Clopoyaur. It's always been like it's always been like that. And by the way, it's that case for any game that's more than just a flash. A game whose backbone is not the community lasts 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and then disappears. The Zynga games or those sort of games. It's always been the backbone. It will always be the backbone.
Yes, you talked earlier about those 4 new countries that will be added to the game. One particular thing that made me a little bit surprised was the amount of people that actually voted in that pool. Around 37K players. How do you think this number is for the eRepublik? Do you think it should be bigger, higher? It's normal for the game in the actual stage? As a CEO of eRepublik, how this number looks like for you?
It looks pretty good.
Okay, have you any plans of increasing this number? Do you intend to bring more players? And if you want to do it, how do you think this can be done?
So I think so. Our idea is we're opening these new countries, but the idea is to kind of regularly open new countries. So I think the last time we added countries was 2 or 3 years ago. I think the idea now is every few months we'll be adding countries. So this is going to be the first kind of batch of countries, and then we'll be adding more. I think just by doing that, that's going to bring more new players to the game. I think that will help. That's one of the ways we're doing this. I think another way is by giving the community more tools. So by giving you better communication tools, I think we'll be able to retain better the kind of new players that we get. You know, we get over 1,000 new players every day to Republic. The problem we have is we only keep a few. And I think the key reason we only keep a few is that 90% of those players don't really reach to the point where they're really in touch with the community. They don't realize how wonderful this community is and how wonderful this game can be for them. And I think if we manage to break that, then we'll find growth.
That is a great news. However, you will have to wage a continuous war against clones. How are you doing right now in this continuous war against clones? Among these 37K active users, how many are real users and how many are clones? If you can give us an estimation, of course.
Yeah, of course. So it used to be very high. It used to be that about 50% of new users used to be clones, more or less. So that's 50 used to be huge. Now I think it's probably between 10 and 15% maximum. So it's actually much lower. Sometimes it's a small peak, but we catch it very, very quickly. So I think we've become quite good at definitely at least the big clone factories and all sorts of stuff. We've become quite good at not letting those upset the balance of the game.
Okay, and this brings us back to the community. I have already said the community is the most important thing in eRepublik, particularly in any other game that is continuing to exist after 1 or 2 years. How does eRepublik capitalize on the community? There are meetings, eRepublik meetings in all of the countries. There are people organizing to bring more players in the game. We have even a medal for this. How eRepublik helps this player to do something like that?
Well, first of all, the best way we can do it is by giving you better tools in the game to do that. So there's the medals, there's the gold rewards, for any player that the community brings, and then basically becomes, gets gold, and you buys gold, and whoever brought that person into the game gets part of the gold that person has purchased. So that's kind of the basic tools that we're putting in the game. We're also gonna do something where we're gonna allow to do more sharing in the game. I know a lot of players don't like it, but there's about 30% of the players that actually connect with Facebook. So we're going to allow people to connect more on Facebook. I mean, imagine when you're running for president or for Congress in politics. I mean, sometimes it could be helpful if you could share with your friends, hey, I'm running for Congress. I want to be president of Romania or something like that. Come join the game, vote for me, that sort of thing. So I think that's more tools in the game would be one way. And the other thing is, is we try and advertise as much as we can all the community gatherings so that people know about it. So, for example, I think there's a gathering happening very soon in Istanbul, which is going to be great.
This is what I wanted to ask you next. This year, the yearly eRepublik meeting is in Istanbul. Can you tell us more about what is going to happen there? Who will come? What surprises we will see there?
Well, to be honest, I don't have all the details. It's the guys who are behind Plato have all the details about that. So I'd love to tell you some more, but we're not organizing. This is players that are organizing. We're just supporting in every way in any way that we can. But again, we're not the organizer of those events. The players are, and sometimes I don't know. Actually, I'd be interested to know. Do you guys prefer? I think it's very important to have player events. I mean, look at the event that happened in Indonesia. That was beautiful. I don't know I don't know. I have a feeling that those almost have more values for the players than if it's an event that a formal event that we organize, some sort of eRepublik Fest kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if that has the same value for the community. So it's an open question for me in my mind right now. Should we do every year an official eRepublik event, or should we basically just allow anybody, any community in the US to do an event and just give it support, give it advertising, tell everybody in the community this is happening, you know, send them stuff if they need. So I don't know what is best right now.
Well, maybe you can find out by opening a pool in the forum, by opening a discussion, or who knows, maybe a pool right in the game.
That's true. That's a good point.
You were saying earlier that you try to support the community in trying to organize events with the in-game tools. However, I am quite surprised that some of the tools that every game puts for the users to their disposal are not working quite well. I am talking here about people that are trying to develop applications for the game. The API doesn't work. The API it works or it works very, very bad. The events people are organizing, let's say guerrilla competitions on Clopoyaur TV are not I don't say they are not promoted, but players don't have the tools to actually organize events, or in the case they need some help from the eRepublik labs, they find it very hard to get that help. Why do you think this is happening?
Because we screwed up. You're completely right. I think we screwed up. We screwed up with the API. When we had the API very early on, and we just didn't really know what we were doing when we did the API at the beginning, and we didn't know how to manage it, and it was breaking all the time. Then we managed to do it, and then some people started creating some amazing things around the API. But then we didn't really know how to kind of control it. I mean, one of the amazing things that was created was a stock market. But then the guy who was running the stock market was a 16 or 17 years old guy that then had to go to university, so the whole thing collapsed. So it was very hard to do it in a proper way. But I agree with you. I think we screwed up with the API, and it's one of the things that we're actually looking into to give a better service. Because the map was something that actually started through a map that was done through the API. So I think a lot of the good ideas and a lot of the improvements that can come in the future from eRepublik would come from us actually giving a proper API. The problem that we have with that as well is a lot of the things that are done for the API, they're very small things. So it's a difficult one. But so that's why I struggled with it, because there was a lot of small projects that would be great for 3 months and then disappear. So it's like, that doesn't give a very good service to the community, right? Because if through the API you go to something that as the eRepublik API and therefore is the eRepublik blessing, and that thing disappears, it makes the whole experience look bad. So that's why for a while I was reluctant on putting more resources behind the API, but I think that was a mistake.
Yeah, definitely a mistake. Not to mention that using the API, probably the eRepublik servers will be a lot more. They will be not so crowded, let's say.
That's true. That's true.
Yes, there are over 300 people watching us now on Clopoyaur TV. As a CEO as the e-god of the game they are playing, can you transmit them a message, something to guide them in the next, let's say, six months of the game? What would you transmit them?
What would I transmit them? Wow, that's a difficult question. Guys, you know, eRepublik is a catalyst, is a tool for your fun and for you to create a community. We're trying to do the best we can with it. I think there's a lot of fun still to come. I think a few of you are going to be surprised by some of the things that we're going to bring to the game over the next few months. The only thing I can say is thank you. Thank you for enjoying the game. Thank you for making this eRepublik something so special.
Okay, and right now, thank you for this message. I will continue with some particular questions I got from my viewers. Some are very exactly pinpointed, so I will. There will be no logic between them. Still, they are very interesting
One
things.
second, before you jump into it, I have 14 more minutes. Is that okay?
Yes, okay. Yeah,
Perfect.
we will be in time. The first thing is how to handle sensitive political issues like Kosovo, like the name of Fyrom and other things like that. How these things are decided inside the Republic Labs, because
So
this leads to a lot of crazy things in the game.
yeah, I know. So for Kosovo, it was a really difficult issue. We went to, for the names, we went to the UN thing, this, that, whatever. We tried to do our way, and in the end, we know what we did. And famously for Kosovo, what we did is we just let the community vote, and that's how it happened. The community voted and decided.
So basically, everything it's made by the community. Yes. Also, a lot of players ask for the possibility to introduce the game a so-called feature, a referendum, basically to be able, as a president, to send a message to the people or to consult them in a matter, in a national matter. So will be able to take a decision according to the will of your citizens. Do you think such a feature can be implemented in a game?
I like the feature. I think it's a good feature. I think it can be implemented. It's all a question of priorities but technically I don't think it's very difficult to do. The question is, how do we implement it in a way that it makes sense with all the rest, with the balance of the rest? But it is a feature I like.
Okay, that is a good news. Somebody else asked if at some point do you plan to restart the game or to rescale the strength? As right now the difference between the player that starts the game and the player that is 5 or 6 years old, it's quite enormous.
Yeah, I think so. That's a really good question, and to be honest, it's one of the reasons it's the second reason, the second main reason we're losing new players. Is a lot of new players that say, "Oh, we'll never catch up to the old players," and that's the reason also the game is not pay to win. Because if you start today, there is no way you're going to catch up to someone that started years ago and that's been an intense player. No way, it's impossible. So that's the proof the game is not pay to win. So that gives us the problem that if I start today, what do I do, right? And we don't have a good answer for this. One of the things that we've been thinking about, and I'd love to have the community's opinion about it, is because we won't restart the game from scratch because it's just too much history. It's just too beautiful, the history that we have. But one of the things that we're considering, and a lot of people in the team think it's crazy, we should never do it and all that, and it's something that's been trotting in my head, and I'd love to have the community's opinion about this, is to actually have a second server that does start from scratch. Is keep this one and have a second server that starts from scratch. And that's something I'd love to see what the community thinks about that.
Well, that's a quite interesting idea. I never heard of it before. People were very reluctant to this, but yes, indeed, it's crazy but interesting idea. Another question just picked from the chat is, what about the mobile version of eRepublik? When it's going to be finished? Because right now, more and more people are using their smart devices to access eRepublik. We are, however, in the year 2014.
That's a very good point, and I think it's one of the reasons that we're struggling to grow now, is because we don't have a good mobile version of the game. We tried to do a mobile version, but that wasn't very good. We didn't put enough resources behind it. The game is playable on iPad and on Android. I mean, any tablet or phone that supports a browser can play the game, but it's not an ideal experience. But what we've tried to do is at least we're doing some UI changes to the game so that it becomes better for mobile, but we don't have a downloadable app of the game. And there again, we have a difficult question. There is, can we do a downloadable app of the game that is as complex as the game, and we have doubts about that because it's such a complex game, or should it be just a downloadable app that allows you to do certain things in the game, so almost like a shortcut, something that allows you to do a few things? Or should we do a downloadable app that is a new version of the game. And we haven't really made up our minds on that yet. So right now what we're doing is we're trying to make the existing browser-based experience more agreeable and better on mobile devices. But we will need to have a proper mobile game, a proper mobile version in the near future, because it is very important for the future of eRepublik. We're just not sure yet about what is the best strategy to take.
Okay, interesting answer. We are looking forward to see this happening.
And I'm open to suggestions, huh?
Okay, people use the forum for this. And one of the last questions, usually we have 3 or 4 last questions here, but one of the last questions, eRepublik Labs, the primary thing of eRepublik Labs was eRepublik the game. Do you have other projects for the future, other games to develop, other directions you want to go into?
So, eRepublik, so I don't know if you've seen, we actually have a corporate website now that's called eRepubliklabs.com. So if you go there, you'll be able to see a few things about what we're doing, the teams. We've got open positions, so we're hiring right now. So any of the 300 people that is listening is welcome to go to eRepubliklabs.com and see if there's a job they like, because you might not know this, but I think 70 or 80% of the people who work at eRepublik are from the community. So that's kind of where we get most of the people. So we are working on other. So we say that we're about crafting game worlds, okay? And we're working on other games. So we have one game in particular that's called Tactical Heroes. That actually, as a reward, I mean, when I saw the Indonesia get together, you can go to alexisbonte.com, which is my personal blog, to see the video about the Indonesian community. But when I saw what the Indonesian community did, I was so touched that we actually decided to pre-release Tactical Heroes in Indonesia. So if you have an iPad and you live in Indonesia, we already have about 100 people that are playing Tactical Heroes, the early version of it. And Tactical Heroes is based on the game that I was also really in love with before, and still am, just the same way Civilization is a game called XCOM. And we did this game, Tactical Heroes, that's on iPad, and it's going to be released in a few, quite soon actually.
Okay, looking forward to play then. Okay, the last question, and then a few quick questions, a few quick answers. Clopoyaur TV, 1 year of activity, 1 year of promoting actually the game, playing the game. What do you think about this initiative?
I think I told you already via email. I think it's amazing. You've got lots of fans in the company, by the way. A lot of people watch the show in the company, so very influential show, I must say.
Yes, I know. Whenever I signal some bugs, they were fixed quite fast.
I think you're more influential in certain areas than I am.
Oh shit! I'm doomed.
Guys, he's the real Plato. He's Plato.
Okay, thank you for making me the one to blame for the next few days over here. So right now to make.
Thank you so much. This is really great.
Thank you very much for your kind words. So the last things I'm going to ask you now. These are very, very difficult questions. So tell me, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh, that's a good question. Sushi.
Oh shit! Can you eat that?
Yeah. Dragon rolls, to be more precise.
Okay, your favorite sport?
My favorite sport? I'm really enjoying cycling right now. Mountain biking.
Your favorite book?
My favorite book? Ooh, that must be probably Sun Tzu, The Heart of War.
Mine also. Okay, Barcelona or Real Madrid?
I live in Madrid. It's got to be around Madrid, or else I'm going to get shot.
Okay, Mercedes or BMW?
Neither. I actually have Fiat 500.
Oh, nice car. Okay, and the last question. Your favorite eRepublik player?
My favorite eRepublik player right now, I'd have to say it's you.
Oh shit! Double doomed. Okay, thank you very much for having the time to answer all these indecent questions and having the time to talk with the community. It was really a pleasure and an honor to have you among us tonight. Let's hope that we can repeat this in the future with other important occasions. Thank you again very much for being here with me.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you for the honor, and thank you for the community, and thank you to everybody who's been listening. And you guys are amazing. Thank you.
And one more thing, do you agree for this to exist as a recording for people that are not here right now to can watch the interview later? Something like post it here as a recording on Twitch or on YouTube. Do you agree with that?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.